everyone, and welcome back to Lylat Wars on the Nintendo 64. I am one Welsh sheep yet again. And it's time for the first full-blown all-range mode mission.
Recover our base from the enemy army!
Roger, General.
Good luck.
Split up and take it to him.
And welcome to Planet Fortuna. Now this mission by here, it's actually one of two missions that are nothing but all-range mode in this game. And it's actually one of my favorite missions in the game just because it is extremely memorable. And you'll see why exactly this mission is extremely memorable pretty shortly into the mission itself. But, basically, we need to shoot down enemy ships in the meantime. And the world that we're on is actually Planet Fortuna, which is actually a mistranslation. I do believe the planet is actually meant to be Ficina. I don't know, I always get confused with this. I've never really been one to remember the planet names, with the exception of Saria, which is not even in this game. That's a planet from, like, way later on in the entire series. But, yeah, for the most part, to begin this mission, all we're just going to do is fly around this, enemy base, if you will, and just lay the beat down on every enemy we see in the sky. Use your charge shots wisely because they do home in on enemies and they are absolutely delicious. And I always love the way the charge shot looks. They always, I don't know, I've always liked it. Oh, shut up, Falco. The enemies will the teammates will scold you as well if you steal their kills, which... That's actually a nice little thing, nice little touch. I always appreciate when small touches like that are in the game. Like, this game is just filled to the brim with character, and I just love all of the main team of Star Fox. I love the characters in general. It's just a fantastic time. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen?
A bomb has been planted at the base.
Gee! Can anyone take care of it?
Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
Andross has ordered us to take you down.
Happy! Long time no see! Andross's enemy is my enemy! Just what I need to see. Star Wolf.
Oh boy, Star Wolf, I love these guys, quite literally, and the soundtrack that plays when Star Wolf first arrive is absolutely fantastic. In fact, this game's soundtrack is absolutely fantastic as a whole. I think Koji Kondo is the guy behind the soundtrack of this game, and oh my god, it is delicious. I love every single tune from this game. And for the most part, to deal with Star Wolf by here, we're just going to have to chase after them and boot them as quick as possible to take them out. And if you do take too long, they will shoot down your teammates, so be quick about how you deal with this. That's all I can really say, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you? And it's a fun fact as well, Star Wolf was actually not originally from this game, as a lot of people may think. Star Wolf first got introduced in Star Fox 2, which is a game that never got released, despite the fact I think the game was actually finished, but they just never released it. There is ROMs and whatnot floating about online, so people can freely play it, even though it never came out, so... Maybe I'll show it off for the channel at some point in the future, but... yeah, that's where they came from originally.
I'll take care of the bomb now!
But after taking down Star Wolf, that is it. The mission is complete. And this is actually a mission where you can fail. If you fail to take down Star Wolf within the time limit, then you can fail the mission and not be able to go to a higher route. But you can still progress in the storyline. And that's something I find really weird. Like, you don't have to beat the mission to get past it. It's kind of weird. But I digress.
All aircraft report.
Hey, we made it!
Fox, take it easy. That was a close call, Fox.
Not really. That was actually a very easy mission. That went out without a hitch, Falco. What are you talking about? Then again, Slippy did a little bit of damage. Also, after every mission as well, your teammates do regenerate health slightly. Not by much, but slightly, because you know, obviously we're going to need to protect the teammates as we go through, and they can eventually get whittled down to the point that they will die. Anyway, moving back to the asteroid field in Mission 2, if we go through these teleporting rings, we can actually head on into the medium difficulty route of the game, and I'm actually going to be doing that right away, because, well, simply put, it's time to go into hyperspace. Hell to the yeah! And I have to say, hyperspace in this game is bloody trippy as all hell. It's got this really weird... don't crash into... I'm an idiot. It's got this really weird, trippy, like, motion blur effect, and I don't know. This place has always has freaked me out. I don't know. I've never been too fond of this place, and there's not really much going on apart from the trippy background. Like, you have these random ships flying about that aren't even trying to hit you or anything. I don't know. But, one thing you do get is, oh my god, the mother load of collectibles. Low on lasers? No problem. Low on bombs? No problem. And actually, the bombs that you do carry during the course of this game, you've seen me use them a couple of times. They're basically screen nukes. One thing that is kind of really handy about the things is if you charge up your laser shot so you can lock onto an enemy, you can actually use your bomb as a homing shot, so you can basically home your bomb in and nuke basically everything in front of you, and it's really handy. I don't know, I always appreciate that. I mean, they are called smart bombs, so the fact they have homing capabilities, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. But anyway, I think this is like the closest thing we'll get to the awesome black hole, which is a level from the original Star Fox game, and I shit you not, that's what it's called. It is called the awesome black hole. And the level in that game is basically a giant black hole that serves as a warp room. If I ever do get to record Star Fox 1, I will show it off, but I'm not making promises with that because, unfortunately, like I said in the first part, I'm awful at Star Fox 1. I am actually awful at that game, so... But I digress, because we got through this trippy as balls hyperspace sequence. Now we can actually move on to what I like to call the Independence Day level. Oh, you think I'm joking? No, I'm being dead serious. This is the Independence Day level, son. Why? You'll see. You'll all see. And this is the second of the all-range mode missions as well, so, yeah. Basically same sort of thing we saw in the previous mission, just with slightly different looking planet.
Katina is battling the enemy. Will you help him out?
No. Affirmative, General.
Good luck.
Hang on, guys. Help is on the way.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Katina. Basically, this is the Independence Day rip-off level where we have to help the, basically the Conerian fleet take down all of Andross's forces that are flying about. And the big problem with this mission is the fact that all of the... Basically, you can't see the enemies. You can't make head to tail which is an enemy, which is the good guy. Generally, the good guy ships are brighter than the enemy ships, but it's still really, really difficult to tell them apart. And I always shoot down the teammate ships by accident. We don't actually get any, like, we don't actually get penalized for shooting down the teammate ships, but, you know, you do get Bill on your case going, "Oi, don't do this, that's a bad thing, it's our ships, Fox, what, you an idiot? What are you, stupid?" But, all in all, just like the previous mission, I do absolutely love this one. Although, this is a less memorable mission to me, just because we don't actually deal with Star Wolf in this mission. This is all basically us dealing with the base and the enemies. Although I did say, actually, there was only 2 of these missions. I actually forgot. There are technically 3. I completely forgot about one way later on in the game, but I'll talk about that when we get to it. Hey, what's that ominous-looking UFO thing in the distance? Ah, it's probably nothing.
Fuck! That's one of ours!
Sorry, Bill. I can tell the difference. You all look the same, not to be racist. I mean, let's be fair. How can you tell the difference? Hoi. Apart from the fact some of them are green, but you know, it's still really hard to tell, especially with the sunset bloody lighting. It looks nice. I mean, the stage looks beautiful, but you know what I mean. But I digress. Now, a lot of people probably won't actually like these missions all that much, to be honest, because it is basically nothing but waiting around for the entire mission, but they do throw enemies and whatnot at you, so you can get a higher score and you can just aim at the enemies and take them down, because taking down all these enemies, it does nothing. The enemies infinitely respawn, so you can basically never run out of enemies to shoot, but much like the Ficino mission, this one is timed. You do need to take out this UFO within the time limit. Otherwise, well, you're gonna fail the mission, which means you'll be lowered down into the easy route yet again. But the general idea of dealing with this UFO is basically wait for the hatches to open, where Bill will basically shout at you, going, "Oi, Fox, the hatch is open, shoot at it." So basically just fly around, wait for the hatches to open up, blow the ever-living hell out of the hatches, and that will basically take down the UFO for the most part. That's all there is to it. One thing I also kind of like as well is from time to time the robot that's on the Great Fox, which is basically the mothership of the Star Fox crew, who's named Rob. An obvious reference to, obviously, you know, the old N64, not N64, the old was it Super Nintendo or was it NES? Well, it was the old Nintendo peripheral that, like, no sod I know bought, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But once we've taken down all the hatches in here, we can actually fight the core of the ship itself. And basically the core is this giant dangly thing in the right at the centerwards of it, and all you do is run up to it and shoot it right where it hurts. And be careful, because you can fly into the ship, and flying into the ship is no good because it's very likely you're going to lose a wing. As I so rightfully demonstrate. Good job, pass me. I see, I did that on purpose just to demonstrate that, yeah, totally. But, you know, it's still a very easy mission, but it is possible to fail this, so try and take it out as quick as you can, you know, ladies and gentlemen.
Take care, Fox. You too, Bill.
And there we go. Now as well, one thing's kind of interesting. Those side characters that occasionally pop up, they will pop up from time and time again, depending on what routes you go through. So if you go through certain routes, then Bill will actually be with you in another level later down the line. But I digress.
Star Fox, I want you to take out the enemy bioweapon.
Yes, sir. Deploy the Blue Marine.
Good luck.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Aquas. The worst level in the game. I shit you not, this is the worst level in the entire game. It is completely terrible, because you are now swimming in the Blue Marine. This is the only mission in the game that actually uses this ship, and it's so slow. It's so sluggish. And I just really do not like this level. It's the only level in the game I actively despise playing through, ladies and gentlemen. But I will say the benefits of using this Blue Marine are the fact that our smart bombs are no longer there. Instead, we do get an unlimited supply of torpedoes to shoot out, and you know, it's really a shame that it's run so slow. I mean, it kind of makes sense thematically because, you know, we're into the depths, and you know, it's in terms of how the level looks, you know, it's very nice looking, however basic it is. And it has a very nice soundtrack. It's just so boring to play through. I've never really liked this level, and it's not one of my favorites. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not all terrible, you know, it's a nice idea. And again, the soundtrack is off the hook, yo. I just love the soundtrack. It's just... No, I would prefer to be flying in our R-Wings. I prefer to fly in normal ships, you know, ladies and gentlemen, than do all this nonsense. I don't know. The stage just goes on for way too long, and I think there's also some frame rate lag as well whenever you're playing through the stage. Don't quote me on that, because I can't really tell, because the stage itself is slow anyway, so the frame drops I don't really notice as much in the stage, but I'm pretty sure the game runs a lot slower in general as well, like the frame rate's a lot lower, so all in all, there's not really much to the stage, and it's not really one I like, you know. The Blue Marine is crap, Slippy. But I do get the benefit of doing the stage is the fact we can actually destroy all of these priceless artifacts that are lying about. So, you know, that's one good thing. It's not all bad. It's not all a terrible lost cause, I guess. I mean, I love my mindless destruction. And I do love how we can still do the barrel roll when we're under the sea, as much sense as that makes. Like, I think as the quickest you can ever get the Blue Marine's move is when you're using the barrel roll. Which, I always forget what it's actually called. I know it's not actually a barrel roll. Like, the game calls it a barrel roll, but the actual maneuver that you do in Star Fox is called something else. I think it's an Illyrian... I'm gonna look this up. I have no idea. What is this thing called? I've been told it multiple times by my friends saying, oh, it's not actually a barrel roll, but I always, for the love of God, forget. So, barrel roll, let me just Google that.
Look out behind you.
Okay, apparently it is also called a barrel roll, so... never mind, I'm talking bullshit. I'm pretty certain, though, it is meant to be like an Ilarian or Illyrian or Alterian or whatever the hell type of roll. I'm gonna have so many people on YouTube comments just going, oh, well, actually, it's actually an Illyrian roll. Actually, I think that's what it's called. I don't know. But anyway, going through the course of this stage, we've obviously, like I said, seen everything there is to see. You do need to be careful of these starfish, these jellyfish swords. So do be careful of them, because they do inflict a lot of damage if they are able to clip you. And actually, I say that, but it's not very often they do clip you. And the biggest issue I sort of have with the stage, apart from it being just flat out slow and boring and just a massive slog, is it is prone to catching you off screen. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you go to certain areas, like see these boulders? Well, it's very easy to just be booped by a boulder like that just happened to me. I don't know, I've never liked it when games do that sort of thing. I always find that to be cheap level design and pretty terrible. I mean, I have more than enough health to get through the stage, so it's not a big deal. But, you know, just imagine my frustration the first time playing through this game, where I get booped by one of those falling random rocks and I just have a tiny sliver of health because I don't know what's going on. And it kills me and I have to redo the entire half the stage again, you know. It's just... I'm not fond of this one, ladies and gentlemen, you know. But I digress. Anyway, it's time to fight the enemy bioweapon itself, and this here is quite an interesting boss fight, and I do like this boss a lot. Basically, what we need to do is wait for the clamshell itself to open and shoot the things on top of the clamshell, because they will shoot out basically enemies at us to try and stop us. And whenever the clamshell itself opens up entirely, what we want to do is we're going to want to shoot the tiny little pillar thingies to the left and right of it in order to harden them up, and then nuke them with our torpedoes. And once we basically destroyed those 2 pillar thingies, then we can just basically lay waste to the boss fight himself. And I guess the biggest problem I have with this boss fight, I like the boss fight, but again, it goes on really long. It's such a slow boss, and it's... I just think that's... I'm just going to assume that's generally the cause of us being in the Blue Marine. It's really slow, very hard to maneuver vehicle, you know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, and basically I'm just going to be constantly bitching about this level, because I just don't like it, you know, folks. No, sir, I do not. And I don't know why, the things that, like, the enemies that this giant clamshell actually shoots out, they remind me of something out of Legend of Zelda, like the Octoroks or something. I don't know why. But anyway, I digress. Once we destroyed both of those pulley things, then we can just lay waste to the main guy, basically the main bad guy's eye itself. And our normal standard laser fire won't actually lower the guy's health. The lower laser fire will only be used in order to lower the guy's, you know, guy's guard, so you can actually blast torpedoes into him. So this is primarily a torpedo fight. You can't hurt this boss fight any other way. Now think about it, there's only one other boss in this game that comes to mind where you fight in a similar way, where you can't use your lasers, you have to use your bombs and explosives, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. That won't be for maybe another 2 parts. I don't know. I'm not really sure how long, what parts what in this. I digress. It's him done and dusted. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Kind of slow. I don't like that level. It's just ugh. No, just no.
We're preparing to dock. Thanks, Flip. Blue Marine came through. Flip is not such a screw-up after all.
Thanks a lot, Peppy.
I'll take the sky any day.
Personally, he prefers the air.
Thanks, Falco. You too.
Oh, boy, am I glad to get done with that level. I like I said, I really don't like that level. It's such a boring slog to go through, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But on the bright side, it's time to move on to an actual fun stage. Oh yes! As soon as the Blue Marine actually goes... It's Jesus Christ, it's slow at even getting off the results screen. There we go. Hey, I got a medal on Ficino. Basically, if you're good enough at... if you get a good enough score on certain missions, then you'll be able to gain access to a medal. And the medals don't really do anything, but I do believe if you get all of the medals in the game, you can actually play with Star Fox with shades, which is cool.
Reports indicate that Andross is working on some secret weapon.
I'll check it out.
Good luck.
Don't quote me on the whole Star Fox wearing shades thing. I that could be wrong about how you actually unlock that, but I digress. Anyway, now we are in Sector X Combat Zone, and if you are like me, this is probably the first stage where you may have trouble if you were, you know, on your first time playing through the game. Like my first run through of the stage when I was a wee lad, it gave me absolute nightmares because it throws hundreds, and I mean literally hundreds of enemy ships at you. Peppy, watch where you're watch where I'm flying. You flew into me. Yeah. But it literally throws hundreds, and I mean hundreds of enemy ships at you, and it's just it's just frustrating when you don't realize that you can just massively spam the barrel roll. And I just recommend doing that. Run through, no, not run, fly through the stage and just spam the barrel roll, because when you're using the barrel roll, of course, the enemy laser fire will deflect off you, which is pretty damn dope. You know what, ladies and gentlemen. Also, be careful of these bombs as well that are littered throughout the course of the stage, because if you don't destroy them by the time they go close to you, the bombs will explode and they will inflict massive damage to you, and it's not cool. I don't like those bombs. They're just sort of there, and
It's all gone.
oh boy. Well, someone did a number on this space station. Yeah, it's definitely seen better days. What can I tell you? And every now and then you'll see certain enemy types like those wasp enemies, and you'll notice this as you play through the game more and more and more. That's certain enemy types are usually more prone to dropping certain collectibles.
What the heck is that?
That was an arm, Falco. So, like that wasp enemy, for example, will usually either drop a golden or a silver ring. And the silver ring, I don't even think I've mentioned this, silver rings basically heal you. And golden rings, like I said, I've already explained these before, they can increase your health and give you extra lives, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But, I digress. Anyway, what I'm not going to be showing off for the most part in this one is if you go to the left path by here, I'll point it out when we get to it. There are actually warp gates littered throughout the course of the stage. I'm not showing these off because they will skip basically entire segments of the game. But there's warp gates you can get to the end of the game quicker, and you can even skip to different pathways as well if you go through the stage.
I found the gate! It's like a warp!
Yeah, I'm explaining that, Falco, thank you. But basically, in order to use the warp gates, you just have to smash the laser cannon into them as much as possible to break them open. And when you first play through the game, you won't actually know it's a warp gate because it doesn't really look like it. It's that weird thing with all the rectangles that's basically right in front of us right now. It doesn't really look like a warp gate, but it is. I assure you, to shoot through it enough and you will be able to warp to another part of the map. I believe shooting all these will warp you all the way up until like, oh, I'm trying to think now. How far into the game? I think it warps you pretty much to the penultimate level on the hard route. I could be wrong with that, so don't quote me. But it does warp you quite a fair distance up until the end of the game. And I don't really see the point of it if you're doing a playthrough like I am anyway, showing off for YouTube anyway, because, well, it's a short game, you know, this is on its own. Like, your usual playthrough will be an hour long. And you're probably gonna, if you know what you're doing and you know what routes to take, to beat and see everything, it'll probably take you about 3 to 4 hours at most, you know, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't a long game, but it's a very replayable one, which is why I do love it. Actually, it's a trend I think all the Star Fox games tend to share, though.
What the heck? Fuck! Look behind you!
What's wrong, Falco? Oh, it's the boss fight. Okay, no worries. But, yeah, basically, it's a trend that all Star Fox games, except for Star Fox Adventures, tend to have, where they're built mainly around replayability more so than anything else. Well, I say that less so in Star Fox Assault as well, because that's a very linear game, but that's beside the point. Anyway, for this boss fight by Hugh, he's gonna have basically 2 eyeballs show up. You basically have to shoot the eyeballs as quick as possible, and you can actually kind of fail this boss fight in a way where you can actually lose one of your teammates to this boss if you're not quick enough at defeating him. And that will force you onto the easy route. Now, if you do beat this boss quick enough, you will be able to go up to the medium route as well, but it doesn't really matter to me regardless, because I will always be going into the easy route for this part of the game anyway. I digress. Anyway, whenever you get to this point, part of his head will explode, and the boss fight's health will actually refill a little bit again. If you don't beat him quick enough, Slippy will get his ass handed to him, so just mash the A button as much as you can, mash the lasers, and bada bing, bada boom. He goes down. Easy peasy-ish.
I must be complete.
All aircraft report.
I'm having some trouble here.
I've taken a few hits, but I'm okay. You worry about your own hide.
Yeesh, none of you be a dick, Falco. But yeah, as I was basically saying in that incoherent rambling of a mess that I like to call commentary, basically, if you don't beat that boss fast enough, you'll be forced on the easy route. That's basically the point I was trying to get across. But with that is it for this part. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye!